You've entered the Houston Running Zone, the ultimate podcast for runners in the Houston area, featuring the everyday runners who inspire us, clubs, gear, races, and runcations. Houston, we've got the runs.
All right, today in the zone, I have a runner, a run coach, and the best part, a Chevron Houston Marathon ambassador. Zooming in from Colorado is Sara Manderscheid. Sara, welcome to the zone.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Keith. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, interesting. I want to go ahead and say Colorado ahead of time because your journey just to become a run coach, I was listening to your podcast and I said, oh, definitely have you back on. But the first thing is, how is the Houston connection? Because you're in Colorado. I think you're originally from another state. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Michigan. I moved to Colorado like 14 years ago. And I went to Houston to I raced the half marathon in 2020 and I loved it. I just fell in love with the race weekend. And I thought, this is an awesome weekend to celebrate running and racing. It's a great course. I love flat and fast, and it's at, pretty close to sea level. So I train at about 54 to 5,500 feet above sea level. So going to Houston to run is obviously just so great. And it was the summer, I believe, or maybe the spring of 21, where or 2020, where I signed up and just submitted my name to be an ambassador for this race that I just really loved so much. And I thought, oh, this, I could really wrap my head around getting athletes there and promoting this and just having a really fun weekend. So that's kind of how it started. This is my second year as an ambassador. It's by far just such a great weekend. And what I've found from all of this is that Houston has one of the strongest running communities out there. And that is so cool. And I'm all about community in Colorado. I love connection, having that connection and community with my athletes in the Denver area and Boulder area. So it's really great to see Houston really just come together and lift everyone so high on that weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, it speaks volumes that they want ambassadors from other states because it's truly a international marathon as well as half marathon. So what's your favorite part about, because you've run how many marathons or how many different areas of marathons, how many different cities?
Yeah, so I've run 4 marathons total. I recently just ran the Chicago Marathon, and I'm still on that high. It was a great
it's
day.
3 days ago?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it was a great experience. And I've run, 7 or 8, maybe 9 half marathons. And I've only run the Houston half. And I'm going back in 2022 to run the half as an ambassador. And then, or I guess it would be 23.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And and then I hope to do the marathon the following year. But I've raced, a bunch of 5Ks, 10Ks. I've done a few trail races. So a nice mix.
Yeah. And every city and every race has, Chicago, you're all in downtown. Of course, I was born there, so I have a bias to that. But what is it about Houston that you find unique? To me, it was having the convention center and of course the course. But what are some of the things that you enjoy about running the Houston or the Aramco half?
Yeah. I think the whole weekend is so well organized. I've run so many races that when you are really shooting for a PR or you put a lot of time into training and you get to a race weekend and things are just super dialed, I think that just makes you feel a little bit more at ease on race morning. And I feel and I know that the Chevron Houston Marathon weekend is so dialed and everything is so well laid out. Everything is so, it's explained extremely well. The expo is so much fun. We have, Des Linden is usually walking around talking to people all weekend long. Yeah. the convention center is awesome because bid pickup and all of like the sponsor booths and all of that is like right there. But then you have so many hotels that you get to like experience and restaurants, and they have a 5K on Saturday, which is also cool because you can use that as like your shakeout run if you want to. So I think it's just so well organized and it's just so fun. And the crowd support is pretty incredible too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the most I've ever seen. I've only run 7 marathons, but like 40 halves. That's the best. It's just crowded. Like even if the weather's bad, which I hope it's not bad, but yeah, the spectators are out there supporting. So yeah, we had to plug Houston before I kind of get to your story. But I was listening to your podcast. We'll definitely put a link to your podcast and talk a little bit about that. But you had mentioned how you went from a corporate lifestyle to, you know what, I want to be a run coach. And I can see, of course, you just ran in Chicago, but I can see your excitement as far as being a runner, being a run coach versus a corporate job. Not that there's anything wrong, but you kind of chose this path, not out of, hey, let's make a buck, but hey, this is my passion. I feel a little bit more passionate about. Can you kind of explain your journey to become a run coach, leaving the corporate field?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I went to school in Michigan. I have a dual degree in marketing and finance, and I went into that. I was in financial services marketing for 14 years. And, I was good at what I did. I had and worked with an incredible team. And at the end of the day, it just wasn't filling my cup and it wasn't providing any sort of value. I felt like I spent so much time during my week on this one thing that wasn't really moving the needle. It was making, it wasn't giving back in a way that I wanted to give back. And it just came to a point, it was actually in 2019, where I decided I was going to quit and take the summer off and just figure out what I wanted to do, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I also knew that I didn't want to do this. So I ended up signing up for a running camp in North Carolina. ZAP hosts awesome running camps. And it was there that the other run coaches were like, oh, you should maybe try doing something like this in Boulder or in Denver. And I wasn't really sure at that moment that that's what I wanted to do. But once the summer came to an end, I went into some contract work in financial services. And then I knew like, okay, this is really it. This 6-month contract, I'm not doing this again. And I am going to go all in on these running camps. So I decided to get certified as a running coach. And then the pandemic hit. So the camps shut down, but I had this run coaching certification and I love running. I love running so much. Like for Chicago, I was running 8 runs, 6 days a week. So I had 2 days of doubles. I love doubles. I love high mileage. I love workouts. Like I love it. And at the end of the day, I love helping people feel confident, have that motivation, feel like they're working towards a goal, and then seeing their hard work pay off and knowing that it's like one stepping stone to the next, right? Like I had 8, 9 athletes racing Chicago on Sunday, and they're all like, what a great day, right? And I know like the best is yet to come. So it's just such a fun way to live my life, helping others have that confidence with their training. And I'm a big believer that when you find that confidence in your training and you feel like you crush workouts or you crush a race, or sometimes we have bad, or I shouldn't say bad, but like we have races that just don't really end up the way that we thought they would go. It's such a great like lesson in what we're doing. And I think, and I know that the confidence too in that training piece, like really spills into life too, right? Like if you're confident in your workouts, in your long run, you race strong. I know that that also seeps into like your relationships with your community, maybe your spouse, your family, your children, and that positivity and that happiness. So that's what I strive for. That's kind of the foundation of my team, which is called Elevate Your Running. And even though I coach athletes one-on-one, I still call it a team because we all, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, like community is so important. And we all like come together and lift everyone high when, athletes are going through racing season, maybe going through injuries, whatever it is, we're all coming together. And we live all over the country, which is the coolest part.
Yeah. Yeah. That is neat that you can work and you had perfect timing. I'm bummed that, some of the things got canceled, but at the same time, you're able to pivot and make yourself happy. And I think everyone has to find their career, and sometimes it changes every 10 years. Who would have known 10 years ago you would have been here doing this? I'd imagine.
I know. Even 5 years ago.
Yeah. So, as well as I'm self-employed, do you figure it out that when you're enjoying it, you tend to I can work weekends, I can work nights, because you're really not working? Do you kind of have that same feeling like, oh wait, I'm actually working more, but it's really not work?
Oh, absolutely. I have, I have an incredible work ethic that I got from my parents, both of my parents. And when you have that and you're working on something that you love, it's like I feel, I wake up in the morning and I just sit down at my computer. Well, I have a dog, so I feed my dog, give her some love, and then I sit down at my computer and just start working. And it's an all-day affair, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of joy to connect with all of my athletes.
Yeah, and your finance degree is paying off because that makes a big difference when you're running your own business there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm all things. Yeah.
You mentioned one thing about how when you run and you're successful running, or I'm not sure that the terminology you use, but it affects other parts of your life, which I think is very important. If you're successful at one thing, there's a confidence buildup and things like that. Do you find that people are kind of running, like the people you coach? Most people that do coaching, they're doing it to break a PR or advanced coaching or get qualified. But you coach a lot of people that I'm sure that are just starting out that want to do it safely, don't want to get hurt. And then you kind of see them oh, okay, maybe I could run at farther distance or faster distance. You kind of see a lot of that, people kind of stepping up incrementally.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a really important piece to it as well. If you're just getting into running, start with run walking. And I have some athletes who are doing that right now. They're run walking, and that is awesome. And that's great. And they might be looking at running a 5K this fall or a 5K turkey trot or something like that, and then working their way up to the 10K or the half marathon. I also coach Boston qualifying athletes. I coach ultra runners. I coach basically every type of runner. My only requirement is that they're committed, they're ready to work hard, they're going to show up, and that we also get to have fun and we don't get to take anything too seriously. Because I think when we get too serious about training, it takes the fun away from it. And that doesn't feel good either.
Yeah, well, that's true. Because I see a lot of people that say, oh, I'm not a runner. I'm like, well, okay, I'll run with you. How fast your pace? Well, it's 8 minutes. I'm like, wait a sec, 8 minutes a mile. Okay, you're a runner. And you could be an 18-minute run walk. I don't care.
Yeah.
What would you classify runner? Because I want everybody, whether they use you or they use another running coach, to have some sort of coaching or some sort of coaching system. What would you consider a runner? Someone that just wants to do more than right now?
Yeah, I think anyone and everyone is a runner. If you're out there and you're shuffling along at 14 minutes a mile, or you're running, 7 minutes a mile, 6 minutes a mile, 30 minutes a mile, depending on, distance or whatever, everyone is an athlete. Everyone is a runner. If you have a goal to run a 5K or a 10K or someday run the marathon, you definitely are a runner. And I'm a big believer that the athlete gets to take the step forward to make it happen. So the first step is being consistent and following a plan that's going to work for you. Don't set yourself up for failure. If you know you can only run, walk, or run 3 days a week, great. Put those 3 days in your calendar and be committed to them. It breaks my heart when I see athletes say to me, or I see it on social media, I want to run 5-6 days a week, but then they can only commit to 3. Well, that doesn't feel good, right? If you're missing half of your runs, that doesn't feel good. So set yourself up for success, meet yourself where you're at, and then start to progress forward.
are in the Houston running zone. We've got the runs.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to ask you is, well, what can somebody do right away to see a positive change? So basically, look at your schedule. What can you fit in would be a good way to start, I guess.
Absolutely. I would say, look at your schedule, see what you can make time for, not what you have time for, because none of us have time, right?
No.
I was running like 74 miles was my peak for Chicago, and I had to figure out how to make time in my schedule to get that done because it was important to me. So if it's important to you, you'll make the time. And let's say it is 3 days a week. I would say stick with the same 3 days every week. So if it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's your schedule. And let's say you're a morning runner. Great. Be committed to the morning. Or if you're a night runner, maybe it's after work or after your kids go to bed. Great. Be an evening runner. I definitely see as a coach, like the athletes who kind of bop around what times they run during the day to try and like fit it in are the least consistent athletes.
Yeah, I'd imagine your eating's off and yeah, you may have a heavy lunch and something will mess it up.
Or all of a sudden, all of a sudden it's like 10 o'clock at night and they're like, oh, I didn't get my run in today because I just kept pushing it. So be consistent with it and you'll start to reap the gains of that. And that's going to be the forward momentum that you need to keep going, which is really fun.
Yeah. And you tend to look forward to it after the first week of grinding it out.
Totally.
I want to mention your podcast. Listen to a couple of the episodes. Hit the subscribe for free, which is always pretty cool. But you talked about, first of all, your podcast. You have a partner that does that with you. Now, was he the gentleman from North Carolina that you visited that talked to you into running coaching, or who's your partner in the podcast?
Yeah. So my partner is Austin Myers, and I met Austin the summer of 2021, and he had moved here from Kentucky, and he was looking for community. He was looking for friendship, and he was training for his first marathon, and he ran the Indianapolis Monumental Marathon. That's in November. It's the same weekend as New York, and he was training for that. And after I ran Boston last fall, so after we ran our marathons, we were getting together for runs. And I just felt like we had the same mindset, but we kind of have different approaches, as you probably know from listening to the podcast. Like we kind of come from different places, but we have the same kind of outlook. So, so I felt like our dynamic was really good. And we were talking about, I think I was on a podcast and a few people had said, oh, you have a podcast voice, so whatever that means. But I thought maybe we should do this. So, so I was thinking about who I'd want to do this with, because at this point, in this stage in my business, I don't have a lot of free time. And I was really looking to have a partner to help kind of carry the load. As you know, there's a lot that goes into podcasting, and it's not just record and publish. So, So Austin and I talked, and at that point he was getting certified to be a running coach. So it was a really nice transition. We started it about 38 episodes ago. So it's February of 2022. And it's been awesome. He has since moved to Rolling Rock, Texas. So he lives in Texas and he works for a company just outside of Austin. And so we do podcasting, or he does podcasting on the side, but he loves running. He's running the New York City Marathon this fall, and then that'll be his third marathon. He got to run the Buffalo Marathon in May, and I was able to coach him into a sub-3 marathon, so it was a really fun experience. He put in a lot of hard work for that and ran incredibly strong. And so he loves running, so it's a fun dynamic between the two of us.
It's unique. That's neat. Yeah, I love it. And the one part that I really enjoy was you talk about elevated moments or wins of the week, or so much terminology that I forgot. But you talked about, but you made people like,
you got it.
yeah, some people call it gratitude. I call it gratitude, wins of the week, however you want to say it. But I think everyone can do this like right now. Can you kind of explain how you kind of celebrate the wins of the week or the elevated moments?
Yeah. So on the podcast, we kick it off with sharing an elevated moment or a win for the week. So it's something that's happening in our lives that went really well. And it could be something that maybe didn't go well, but we had a really good learning experience from it.
Mm.
And we'll take elevated moments from the audience too, and from the listeners and share those. It's also something that I incorporate in my coaching practice. So all of the athletes get to celebrate their wins with me on their athlete calls. They get to fill out a weekly check-in form, which I feel like is like, I don't know.
You got to do
we'll
it.
see how long it lasts. I know. I'm like, come on, this is so good. Well, one of the questions is, what is your elevated moment of the week? Because I feel like as a society, we don't really lean into what's working. We're hyper focused on all the things that aren't working.
Mm.
And I really want my athletes focused on the wins. And it could be, crushing a 400 on the track. It could be getting out the door, even though they had other things that they needed to do, but they made training a priority. It could be dialing in their nutrition or their hydration. And once they get into that practice of recognizing the wins and training, it helps them become more confident. So it's kind of this momentum building question that makes them a stronger, happier, more confident athlete. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm really striving to do, is to build these humans into that.
No, I love how let's focus on what went right. Okay, there's 20 things that went wrong. Let's focus on.
Yeah.
And I was talking
and
about,
we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about this with my engineering friends. I said, you're pessimistic by design, because if you make a mistake in engineering, it could cost money or lives. So you're always looking at, what's going wrong. I said, it's a hard shift for everybody now, but especially for a lot of analytical careers, I'd imagine it's really hard to do. So you just basically, you give them a form. So yeah. I think that's an accountability too. Like, I better fill out this form.
Yeah. Yeah. We celebrate what worked, what didn't work, how they're feeling, how their legs are recovering, things like that. Just so I have like a pulse on everyone at every week to kind of know how everyone's feeling. Because I feel like all I'm asking is, how are you feeling? How are your legs feeling? As a virtual coach, that's always something I'm trying to know exactly how those athletes are doing. So,
yeah. Now, is there something common that most runners fall into? Is it the accountability, or them starting to kind of get fatigued, or is there something that's very common? Because I want to ask you, because a lot of times we'll say, well, this happened. Well, it happens to a lot of people. What's the most common issue you see with everybody that you coach? A common, that's not right. A common something they need to step over or overcome, I should say.
I think that a lot of athletes, and I'm included in this, we get in our head and we get way too into our head about the workout, about the pace, about what we're supposed to be doing. And sometimes, or most times, if you just lean into what you know about yourself as an athlete, and that takes time too to figure out. So you're not going to know that right away. But if you know what you believe in yourself and believe what you're capable of, races, workouts, long runs can go so much smoother because of it. I'll have athletes ask so many questions about one thing, and it could be all around for example, easy running and the benefits of easy running and trying to get their heart rate down. But are you also supposed to have pace be a certain, 2 to 2.5 minutes slower than race pace or something like that? They're asking all these questions. And I'm like, how about if you just go out and run based on feel, and it should feel like this? And I'll give them an RPE scale. Easy running should feel like a 3 out of 1 out of 10. It should land at a 3. And it should really feel like a jog. So what does a jog feel like for you? Go out and do that. And then when they come back, I can look at the data and really see did they do that? And then we can have a conversation about it. And once athletes start to trust themselves they start to get out of their head, drop into their heart, and let their legs just take them, it's a much easier process. But we all do it.
So you can actually look at like their, whether you're using Apple Watch or Garmin or Strava data, you actually can take a look at that and kind of say, hey, this is why I'm coaching you. Is that you kind of do that?
Oh, yeah. I can look. So I look at definitely heart rate. I look at pace. I look at cadence. And those are key metrics that I use to see how the athlete is showing up. And that's a lot of fun too. But I'm always asking, like, how did this feel? Even when I have their heart rate, the heart rate's like a pretty good indicator of their fitness levels and how they're doing. Because if the heart rate spikes too quickly or it stays elevated for too long, they're pushing way too hard. And I'm not a coach that's out there asking my athletes to like push it 100% of the time, even on track workouts. It's like, no, we always get to have at least one rep left in the tank.
Okay. So they don't get burned out, or I guess there's some sort of chance of injury, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I didn't realize. Yeah. That was one thing that I realized when I first started. Cadence was way more important than I thought. I wish I would hired a coach. I had to read a bunch, but next life,
so
I'll get this correct.
important.
Just hire a coach. You hire coaches for every other sport. Why not for yourself? You know? Excellent.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, I know you did a Takeover Tuesday, which always follow the Chevron Houston Marathon Takeover or Instagram. Do you have another one coming up as well, or does it just once per couple months, or do you know?
I wish I did. If anyone can help me out with that, please. So I took over the Chevron Houston Instagram page. It was about a month ago. It was so much fun. I tried to share as much as I could as an athlete and as a coach, and then just like, my day as, a running coach in Boulder and what that looks like. And I have a dog and she's adorable. So I tried to include her a little bit too. And it was a lot of fun, and I would love the opportunity to do it again. It was fun too, because I got to ask questions and I got to drop like a lot of polls. So I got to interact with a lot of people who are watching the stories. And that was really fun. And it was fun to hear what they're training for and their why behind it. And if it's their first or if it's their 10th. Yeah. And it was such a great day.
I've ran it 3 times, and I've done the aid station every other time that I can't run it or won't run it. Scheduling conflicts, things like that. But yeah, I just love that weekend. It's just an amazing experience. And yeah, look forward to seeing you there at the expo. Yeah,
for sure. I'll be helping out for sure on Friday and Saturday.
I'll probably be doing like I guess you guys help out with like all sorts of stuff, the photo booth, the fun photo booth, all the cool activities. Anything that that's exciting this year, or just show up and you'll be impressed?
Definitely sign up. If you're considering doing this race, I say just go for it. That's like one of the things that I really believe in. Like, life is now, life is short. If you're thinking about it, even if it's the 5K on Saturday, like, do it. You will not regret it. I mean, definitely train. You have to train, otherwise you will regret it. But just do it, and you're going to be so happy that you did. And make time for that weekend. So show up to the expo with time to walk around and to visit all the booths. And they do have this really cool photo booth system. I think it's like a 360 camera video thing, and it's so cool. So you definitely want to do that. There's definitely going to be some elite runners walking around, chatting with everyone. So that'll be fun too. And you get to meet all the ambassadors. There's I want to say maybe 24 of us. We're all very different, but yet the same, because we all love running. And a lot of the ambassadors are from the Houston area, which is really cool too. So you might be able to see them kind of out and about between now and January at different events. But it's a really great weekend, and I really invite you to just take that step forward and join the weekend as an athlete or volunteer. I know they need a lot of volunteers too.
Yeah, definitely. And before, don't hang up after we go through the end of the podcast. I had to ask a couple questions off the mic, but before I let you go, for the podcast listeners, I do have 3 more questions. Call it the lightning round. Sarah, you ready?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, if you could run with anybody, alive and or past, who would it be? Just a casual run, a fast run, any type of run?
Oh my gosh. That's a great question. I know. Okay, I'm going to say Sarah Hall because she's alive and she's incredible. And we're around the same age, and she just continues to get stronger and faster and just is a powerhouse. And I would love to like run with her and just hear about her story and her journey. And she seems like such a kind person too. So I would say Sarah Hall. And we're both Sarahs. So
there you go. There you go. Yell Sarah, you're like, oh, they're talking to me. I'm way more famous than you. So oh, that's awesome. Okay, question number 2. I know we normally try to take care of ourselves, but hey, let's face it, we all have our guilty pleasures. What's your favorite culinary guilty pleasure?
Ooh. I mean, my favorite, are you talking just like food, like indulgence?
Mm-hmm.
I love chips and guacamole. Like that is that an indulgence?
Oh yeah. If you eat the amount I eat.
So I know, right? I know. I had it last night. It was amazing. Like after a hard like training run or a hard long run, it's so nice to go out for like, you know, Mexican food or just chips and guac and a margarita. Like that's so great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Colorado, especially Denver, has amazing Mexican food. I can't say it's better than Houston or I'll get stabbed. But yeah, it is.
It's probably not.
Well, no, it's amazing. Yeah. That's what I eat when I'm over there. We're just over there in June. So there you go. And there's no such thing as too much guacamole. Nice. We had chips and guacamole, everything on Saturday, and there was too much. I was like, there's no such thing as too much. We will muscle through guacamole. Yeah.
I know, right? It never there's never leftovers. Like, yeah.
Keep the rice and beans. Give me the guac. Yeah.
I know.
All right. And last question before I let you go for the podcast listeners. What's your favorite dream race? Some race that you've always wanted to run or thinking about running or maybe on your schedule, or hey, maybe it comes to fruition?
That's a good question. I would love to run all of the majors. I think that would be so cool to do. So I've run Chicago and Boston. So I have 4 left to go, and I think it would be fun to be able to do all of them. And I think out of the remaining 4, like I think Berlin would be amazing. London. I really can't choose. So that's my answer.
I should have Googled this before if I don't know you would have answered that, but I was kind of curious, like, were they going to change one or add one? I wasn't sure what they were doing. There's some sort of shakeup, but no, I probably have to figure this out here, but I didn't want to pause.
Wait, are they? I have not heard this.
It could have been in a dream. I have no idea, but who knows? But either way, that's awesome. And you get the cool medal and you get to see the world that way. That's awesome.
Yeah, right? Some travel and running. It's all good.
Exactly. Well, yeah, thank you so much. And look forward to meeting you at the expo.
Yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you. And anyone that's interested in coming to the expo all the ambassadors will be out and about with our ambassador shirts on. We're all friendly. So say hi.
Oh, yeah. And I forgot to mention, I want to make sure I get it correctly. Elevate Your Running is your podcast, and your Instagram handle is?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is Sara, SAYRAH runs happy. My podcast is Elevate Your Running. My coaching business is Elevate Your Running. And let's elevate your running.
Cool. Yeah, I'll also put links in the episode notes and appreciate it again.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you.
As always, if you want to become the first to find out about upcoming weekly episodes, simply hit the plus, follow, subscribe button. Depends on your podcast platform. And if you're on a podcast app where you can leave a rating and review, we always love it. Hey, give us 5 stars if you like it. And if you don't like it, give us 5 stars anyways. You made it through the whole episode. But more importantly, looking forward to sharing another episode next week.
Thanks for visiting the Houston Running Zone. If you know someone you'd like to be featured in the zone, go to thehoustonrunningzone.com and send us a message. Until next week, always remember, Houston, we've got the runs.